Welcome to the Grow in Pair episode 3. My name is Isaac Goldfarb and with me here is James Edge. Hello, James.
Hey, Isaac. Oh, I was just about to say, hey, James there. Hi, Isaac.
Are you welcoming yourself,
I
James?
was going to, yeah.
James, can you believe it? We are already in episode 3.
It's cool. I've definitely, I feel like I've personally grown in that short space of time, much more comfortable and enjoying this. It's gone quickly.
I talked to a lady this week that's specializing in podcasts. She told me you have like a milestone in podcast, and if you
Hmm.
cross them, it maybe carry on further. So 3 episodes is one milestone to cross.
Nice.
So no pressure there, James.
That's cool.
James, let's kick this off on a positive note. Can you
Hmm.
share with us one win you had this week?
One win. Good question. One win was so I'm currently training to be a Samaritan as well. So I had a good practice session last night where one of the volunteer trainers said I was progressing quite nicely, which is really cool to do. Yeah. What was your win this week?
So my win this week, I uploaded a client testimonial video,
Hmm.
which felt incredibly rewarding. Seeing the amazing progress this client made throughout our journey together has been inspiring. The fact that he was willing to openly share his experience is a huge
Mm.
reflection of the transformation he's gone through.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And with that in mind, it ties perfectly into the topic of this episode. Today, we are diving into an important conversation about what it takes to be a great coach, but equally, what it takes to be a great client. To explore this fascinating topic, we have a special guest joining us today, James, and I'm
I'm
excited.
excited.
I'm excited to introduce her to you. Meg Roundell Green is an experienced sales and marketing leader who is on a mission to help entrepreneurs make more money and feel better when selling and marketing. She helps founders use simple, effective marketing strategies and sell their packages and products without getting stressed and overwhelmed. Students learn and master a simple sales process to increase revenue and profit, as well as simple marketing that will grow the company long term. Her coaching philosophy is based on building connection, adding value, and being authentic in your business. I would like to give a warm welcome to Meg Roundell Green. Hello, Meg.
Hello. Well, thank you so much. That was a lovely introduction. I'm so pleased to be here with you both.
Hi, Meg.
When I said this introduction to you, how was it reflecting?
Oh, that's a really good question. I felt really good, but do you know why? Because I edited it before I sent it to you. I took out a load of the nonsense that I used to say about my past job because you know what? Nobody cares about that. As coaches, we think people really care about that. No one cares. So I took a bunch of stuff out and I was like, this is good. This is a true reflection. So thank you.
It's a good reflection to say nobody cares about the past. It cares about what we're doing at the moment and what's the future. And that's what life coach is all about, isn't it? Where we are now and where we are taking ourselves going forward.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so the topic today is really an interesting one. It's what makes a good coach, because it's obviously a question that we will ask any service provider, but we are also going to ask what makes a good client. In your opinion, what are, and James, of course, you jump in as well because I'm gonna, ask you that. What are the core qualities that make someone an effective life coach?
So I was thinking hard about this before this session, and for me, there are skills that you can learn, but there's also an intrinsic way that you approach the relationship that's really more important. And for me, it's about starting from the vantage point of seeing your client as not broken, completely whole, completely perfect, and totally capable of everything they want to achieve. And it really starts with that's the very first thing in my mind, how you're viewing your client. Because when people come to coaching, they want to fix something. So it can be tempting as the coach to be like, okay, I'm going to save you, I'm going to fix you. But when you approach the relationship that way, you can't get on an even footing with your client. You can't be truly on their side for them. So for me, it really starts with how you see and how you love your clients and how you connect with your clients, and seeing them as perfect just as they are, and being able to see exactly what's possible for them. And you holding so much belief when they don't have it. They're capable, they just don't have the belief yet. You do.
It's a very insightful thing what you just said, because I had in like a haha moment now. When you go to the doctor, you want the doctor to fix you. When you go to the therapist, you have a problem, you want the therapist to fix you. When you go to whatever service provider, you as a client want this to be fixed, and I guess the service provider want to fix you. But what you're saying here is actually a very interesting way to look at it. When you come to a life coach, it's not about fixing you, it's about helping you together. Am I reflecting correctly what you meant?
Yeah, for sure. Because when you see them as infinitely capable, you coach them very differently. It's not like action based. It's not like do this, do that. Here's why you should do it. It's far more powerful for the client because they get to see themselves, which is completely capable, completely powerful, completely able to be responsible for themselves, and that's how they get the biggest change.
I really like what you said. It resonates with me because when I started this out, it was with the view that everyone has the power to make positive changes in their mind. That's just like a belief that I have. And then your point to it's the belief that maybe they're missing or lacking where they want some guidance. That's like the second part. But I strongly believe everyone has the power to do it, just where they have the belief or the right guidance to get those positive outcomes that they want. So yeah, what you said resonates a lot with me.
So, Meg, how important do you think is active listening in coaching? And how do you ensure you're truly active listening?
Good question. So for me, it's like there are two levels of listening. There's listening to the words and being fully present. So something that you can do as a coach is just check your connection and check your presence. Like just checking that if your mind is wandering, that kind of being absorbed in someone's energy, that's something that you can't really listen for. That's an energetic thing that happens by being present. So that's something that's really intangible and hard to put your finger on. But there's the listening to the words mentally, there's the emotional being present and being connected. And then for me, there's the third layer as well of just like allowing enough space to not react and not have a thought instantly about what they're saying, which is something that just comes with practice because we want to be listening and be like, aha, I want to say something.
Kind of a natural thing, because you're saying a sentence and something in my mind is like, whoop, there is an idea that I want to share. It's something that comes to my mind and I don't want to forget it. I want to say it. But as a coach, as a life coach, you need to learn to control this emotion and allow the client to express. I had many conversations with clients that the moment I captured myself wanting to say something and actually I shut up, I actually allowed the client to discover something deeper than what would have said to begin with the answer.
This is so good. And that's like a perfect example of, as the coach, you never know where it's going to go. And it's not your job to know, which is hard to unlearn because we like to know where it's going and we like to be right, quote unquote, and think, aha, I got the answer. I got to the bottom of it. But instead, like you said, when you stop and you allow the discomfort, allow yourself to feel uncomfortable in silence. You have to experience that discomfort and allow them to go first. That's what creates the safety and trust for them to do all of that super powerful work, because you never know what's going to come up. So it's kind of like you have to train yourself to think, I don't know the answers, I don't know what's right, but I'm going to allow enough space and listen very deeply. Let's just see where it goes. That's my favorite thought when I'm coaching. Let's see where it goes. And usually it's not remotely where I thought it was going to go, and I was wrong. I think another trait or skill is being willing to feel very uncomfortable and to experience your own emotional stuff and not allow yourself to go into that, because when you do, it like muddies the water with what they're saying. For example, clients have said to me, I noticed I felt a lot of judgment when I was coaching my client. And I was like, okay, that's super good to notice. Just notice it's happening. It's completely normal. It happens. It's amazing that you have awareness of it. Just sitting with it feels very uncomfortable. But that's like a superpower we have as coaches, sitting with emotions and not responding from them, not saying something or doing something because of them.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's essentially what it is. Just being comfortable in that situation where you don't have the answers, you don't know where it's going to go. Yeah, being comfortable in it, embracing it.
And that's harder to do if you think you have to be right. Because if you think this has to go a certain way, you won't be able to sit with that discomfort. You won't trust that it's going to be okay. You will want to say stuff, interject, lead them a certain way. So it comes back to that idea of seeing them as completely whole and perfect. They just have some things to work on. They just have some beliefs to grow. It's interesting because as a client as well, imagine they're feeling super uncomfortable. They're being very vulnerable with you. They're sharing lots of things. So we have to go first as coaches. We have to be willing to feel all the discomfort, all the frustration, all the full spectrum of emotions and be okay with them. Otherwise, we can't help our clients.
On the flip side, you can have a situation where the client is doing, the most amazing new thinking they've ever thought, and they're being quiet. And we as the coach will sit there being like, they haven't said anything. And we're feeling uncomfortable, even though they're having like a breakthrough in their head. So it can work the other way as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Meg, can you share with us an example of time when you felt you truly made an impact as a coach, and what made that moment stand out?
That's a good question. I think for me, it was recently. I was working with a client, and it must have been the second week that we started working together. And the first week, I just given her lots of thoughts. I wanted to make it very easy. Before she had her own thoughts about what she was doing, I wanted to just set her up in a really powerful way. So that first session, I was like, okay, this is so possible. Look at all the amazing things that you've already done. I was giving her a lot of my own thoughts for her to like try on. And then in the second week, she came and she was like, I think I've signed my first client. It's like, what? Because it happened so fast. And for me, that was so fun to see her step into belief so quick. Because you can say things to people, and if they truly don't believe them, there's no part of them that believes them, it will just wash off like water off a duck's back. They'll be like, that sounds great for you, but I can't get there. But there was something that happened in that first week that fueled her enough to go and take a different, bolder action. And the action is what created the impact. So for me, that was really, really nice to see her stepping into that. Okay, this is so possible. I can do this. And there are people who want this, and they're all around me. There was a lady that I'd never expected, and she wanted it and she bought it. So that made me very happy.
Nice one. It's a nice example. When I'm running my workshops and especially the motivation workshop, in my mind, I'm saying, if the people that came to the workshop took from the whole lovely, fluffy presentation I made, one word, one sentence that made a difference in the mindset, I've done my bit with that specific thing.
I love that. And do you know what's really fun when you say that is you never know what it's going to be. You always think it's going to be the groundbreaking, aha, this is amazing. No, it's the something that you just throw at the end. And they're like, what? Then they go away and they're like, ah, this is amazing.
And again, in sessions with clients, always finding it surprising that questions that I came out from nowhere and I thought, I'm not sure where it's going, bring them that aha moment. Those moments are one of the biggest reasons why I love this job of life coaching.
Honestly, it's the most fun thing ever. It really is. Like seeing people transform and being able to believe something new about themselves is so important. I think what we're doing is honestly groundbreaking. It changes lives for good. I love this whole industry for that reason.
I can see your passion, Meg. It's nice.
I can see, I can hear, like I can feel. You see,
Feel, yeah, that would have been a better word. Yeah.
Meg, if you need to give 2 top advices to life coaches in the beginning, what would be your 2 top advices?
I think the first thing is remember that you are your number one client. You're your first client. So practice on yourself. Change things for yourself in your life, in your business. Use the tools that you have to create positive effect and then talk to people about it. It's the only thing you have to do. You don't have to worry about selling. You don't have to worry about marketing if you just do those 2 things, because you become a walking, talking example of what's possible. People will start saying, Isaac, what have you done? There's a change in you. I can see you're doing all this incredible stuff. Tell me your secret. And then you'll get to tell them, I've been doing this and it's incredible. So I think you have to embody it first. So when I'm talking to people and they're really struggling with how do I get clients? How do I do this? It always comes back to this. Are you being a walking, talking example of the work? Are you living in the work yourself? And if you're not, that's the work to do. Doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter how good your copy is, you won't get clients. Have to embody it first. And that's great because it's free. It's harder, but you can do that in your own time. You have time, so it will come.
Kind of walk the walk and talk about it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I really like that. So we talked a lot about what a good coach needs to be. Let's talk about the client side, because as you said, and it's still in my mind, what you said to begin with, that we need to come to it as coaches as equal to our clients and not thinking we come to fix them. What does it take to be a good life coach client?
Do you know what is so interesting? I think it's harder to be a good client than a good coach, but there's lots of things that overlap because you guys are coaching people who are not in personal development, who don't have these tools. So they're coming to this very kind of fresh. They don't really know what to expect. In that relationship, coming to that as a client, first of all, believing that your coach is on your side. I think this is the biggest thing for me, because when you're starting to be a client of a coach, you don't know how it works. You don't know what's going to happen. You kind of have no expectations. Hopefully that you've had a good discussion with them and they've laid out what it's going to look like. But really, you're coming in and you kind of don't know. As the coach, you'll help them believe that you're on their side. But as a client, it's really anything they say to me is said with love. It's said for my highest good. And I have to believe they're on my side always. Even if I disagree with what they're saying, I'm going to work to find the truth in it. So I'm going to be willing to sit with it, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it triggers me, and see the truth in it. And then I can come back and disagree. That's not a problem, but I'm going to go test it first. That's hard to do. Even as I'm a client of my coach, I find that hard to do.
But when it comes to me as a client and I'm paying for this service,
Mhm.
the money aspect of it is kind of putting what you just said into a test, because I'm paying for this service and I want to get the best service I can. And that best service, I'm defining it, what this best means to me. And what you are saying is, hold on a second. Remember, I'm not here to fix you as a coach. I'm here to be next to you and with you to that journey you're going to. And that's where clients really need to separate that emotional part in them of paying the service and the service itself.
That's such a good point, and I didn't think about it in that way. But yeah, as the coach, you have a lot more responsibility than we think we do as coaches. You can set the expectation, you set the boundary, you set the container, you set the space. So as the client, coming into that and being like, okay, they're on my side. This is for me. Everything that's said is said with love and it's said for me. You can even tell them this in the beginning of the relationship, like having almost a kind of little agreement. This is the expectation. This is how it's going to go. And then as the client, being willing to be wrong, because that's the whole point of coaching. We want something different than what we have now. So what we're thinking and what we're feeling has created our current result. So if we want something different or want to be different, we have to be wrong. And sometimes that can be where the rubber hits the road, as it were, and there can be an emotional reaction. As the client, it's like, am I open to being wrong about this?
Do you think it's fundamental for a client to have the belief that they can change? Otherwise, whatever you guys work on, there's not going to be any change. Do you believe that that's fundamental, that they need to believe in themselves, that they can change?
I think they have to just be willing to entertain the notion. I think it's almost like a step before. They don't have to believe that they're going to change. They might be very,
Can change.
yeah. Oh, I think if they didn't, they wouldn't buy.
Yeah.
I think you would lose them at the conversation, actually.
Cool. Thanks. I was just curious.
And I guess, Meg, your clients are coaches, so kind of they're understanding more that world of coaching. And when it comes to non-coaches client, is becoming more challenging because we need to explain them the whole concept of life coaching. So if you need to take two things to put focus on as explaining non-coaches clients what life coaching is, what would that be?
The way I would explain it is giving them examples, like scenarios in their life. Like it's kind of like when you want to get fit and go to the gym and you know exactly what you're going to do and you have a plan and you set your alarm for 6 a.m. and you're going to go out for a run, and then 6 a.m. comes around and you don't go. Having a coach helps you figure out how to do the stuff that you say you want to do. So it's just about simplifying down, giving people real life examples of this is how a life coach helps you. I do coach coaches, and we can get into coach language that is no one else understands. Transformational being, like people don't understand this language. They understand, I would like to stop drinking so much. I would like to stop shouting at my kids. I would like to feel less stressed. I would like to feel healthy. So we have to speak in that language so that they can be like, oh, cool. That makes sense to me. It's not deep transformational change. I'm just going to literally be able to say what I want to do and then show up and do it. So it's just a translation job in my mind. You have to translate it into non-coach language.
I like how it's simplified into help you do the things you want to do but you don't do, basically.
I heard something that just completely changed my mind about everything and everything to do with coaching, which was I follow the life coach school, Brooke Castillo. That's kind of where I learned. And she said, oh yeah, this is the difference between people making this amount of money or that amount of money. It's putting something on your calendar and actually doing it. That's the secret to life, my friends. I was like, she's so right. This is the secret to life. You just plan something and then you do it. And everything else is just drama. Everything else is just mind drama.
Most people don't do it, right? It's probably easier not to do it.
That's why we can help people. That's why we have jobs.
Wow, that was really fascinating, Meg. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us your thoughts and your ideas and your mindset. And I will ask you first, Meg. This is something we do in every episode. What are the two things you're taking from this, the last 30 minutes of us together?
Do you know what I'm taking from this is a reaffirming my absolute passion and love for this work and seeing talented, bright people like you who care about your work deeply. That's what's like just really lit me up inside. Thank you so much. I cannot tell you how much it means to me to see people like you who really care about their clients and really want to do this work. So my thanks to you.
Oh, I'm feeling
Yeah, I said
now.
oh as well. Thank you.
James, what about you? What are you taking from today?
Yeah, so the first thing is, Meg, you're further along in your coaching journey, and it's just so cool to see the energy that I can pick up from the screen of where you are. You love it, and you're basically like in a position I want to be in the future. So that's kind of got me motivated. And then the second thing is actually, when you were talking about the, walk the walk and then talk to people about it, some things currently on my mind about whether I should or shouldn't do that. Kind of that was like an aha moment for me, and I was just like, actually, I do want to walk the walk on that. So actually probably some practical things I'll take away from this listening to you. So thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
And I'm taking, alongside what you said, James, but also the first thing you said about how we need to look as coaches to our clients. We are not coming to fix them. We are coming to be with them and join them to their journey. Something that I probably knew in the back of the mind, but you put them in the right words. So thank you so much for that, Meg.
You're so welcome.
So if anyone from our listeners wants to get in touch with you, Meg, how can they do that?
So the best way is to follow me on LinkedIn, and it's Meg Roundell Green. You'll find me there. You can just connect and we'll chat.
And we're giving you a virtual hug. So thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thanks again for your time, Meg. It was awesome, and it's nice having three on this call.
Episode three,
3 for 3. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. It's really a delight.
And thank you, all listeners. If you like this, like, comment, send us messages, and of course, get in touch with Meg as well. And until next time, see you and hear you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.